Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this Rangers review. Another transfer special, if you like. We are expecting a busy few days at Ibrox with incomings and potential outgoings as well. One incoming we are expecting is Jefte, the Brazilian left back. Fluminense on the books of the Brazilian side. He has been on loan at APOEL Nicosia over in Cyprus, and I thought there's no one better to discuss how he's got on over there than the Cypriot football expert. You know, when he's been on, when we discussed the Aris Limassol games, folks, it's Stel from the Lissa's Mappa podcast. How are we doing, Stel?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Yourself? Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, absolutely fabulous. Thank you very much. Before we talk about Jefte, how's your club getting on? Ammonia over there, have they improved somewhat?
We sacked our head coach about 3 weeks ago. We brought in Kjetil Rekdal, the former Norway striker, and we started off pretty well. We won our first game 5-1. We then played the cup game. We won 3-0. And then we drew 0-0 against a team that's relegation candidates. And a couple of days ago, we lost 2-1 at home to Buffalo. They're a good team, Buffalo. But there's a lot of issues, unfortunately. And it goes deeper than just players. There's fans are unhappy with the president. They want him gone, which for me is bizarre because he saved the club from bankruptcy. And even in the summer, he offered his resignation. And people absolutely crap themselves because they thought, well, you know, we're 18 million in debt and he wants his money back. And he changed his mind and everything was happy. We brought in the sporting director and we thought, yeah, you know, no problem, because that's what the fans wanted. So he brought in the sporting director. We've made 13 signings since the summer, 13. And fans are still unhappy. To be honest, we signed a striker called Marius Stepinski from Aris, believe it or not. He played for Hellas Verona in Serie A. He played for Nantes in Ligue 1. So he's a goal scorer. But fans are still aren't happy because they got something against the president. So no matter what he does, he can't get it right.
Yeah.
And because the last coach that we sacked was a fan favorite, you know, even though he was absolutely tactically inept, I don't get it. I just don't get it. People just tapped. You know what football fans are like, and you know, I don't know what the culture is like in Scotland, but in Cyprus, there's no patience. Yeah. There's no patience, and managers get sacked. I mean, we've had managers sacked after 4 days last season. One was sacked after 4 days. One was 4 days sacked. One lasted 8 days, I think. Same club. So we've had 13 casualties this season. Last season was 28.
Yeah, that's bonkers. That really is.
This is Cyprus.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, still, one player that plays for the club of your rivals, of course, is Jefte over there at APOEL, closing in on a move to Rangers. He's not been there long, but he certainly has impressed. What can you tell us about him? What can Rangers fans expect?
Well, firstly, it's funny because someone on our Twitter account said this is like a Celtic fan talking about a Rangers player, you know, because obviously they're our rivals. But look, I'll be honest with you. I've been very impressed with Jefte. We didn't really know too much about him before he joined the club. It was a signing from Fluminense. Now we know APOEL have got a Brazilian agent representative that kind of looks at that market and brings in those players. Their head coach is Sapinto, Portuguese speaking. I think his assistant is he used to play for Spurs. I forget his surname, Dominguez. So they've done pretty well.
Yeah.
So them signing a Brazilian player was not a surprise. But then you saw him. Well, the first game, he's 6 foot plus for a left back. That's pretty pretty different. You know, 6'2", 6'3". I think he's a little bit taller than that, to be fair. And he just loves marauding up and down that flank. Look, in Cyprus, they try to play a certain style of football. There's this high intense pressing that goes on. And he doesn't seem to get caught out on counterattacks. He's quick. He loves to get forward. He can deliver a cross. He scored a few goals this season, got a few assists as well. He's an intelligent footballer, but he's still young and he's raw.
Yeah.
So he's going to need development. I don't think he's going to come in and take that left back spot and make it his own straight away. I'll be surprised if he does. But at the same time, he's got the ability to make it his own. So I think you've got a decent player here. Now, I don't know the permutations of the agreement between Fluminense and APOEL, but we can talk about that later. But on the whole, I think he's a very good player. Very good player.
Yeah, 28 years of age, folks. So certainly at the beginning of his career. Don't think he played for Fluminense. He came through their youth academy, of course, and then got sent out on loan to APOEL. What sort of system do they play, Stel? Is it quite an attacking system? I know he likes to bomb up and down that flank.
Yeah, so they've changed their system a little bit this season. It's been mostly a 4-1-2-3.
Yeah.
And the one holding midfielder will do that job where he will slip in as like a third centre back, which will then allow the game to get stretched. The two central midfielders, Villafañez and Sarfor, whether it be Kostadinov or someone, they're very aggressive when it comes to either being direct on the ball or they're tackling. And their wide men, especially in Dongalan, Marquinhos, they're fantastic on the transition. They're very pacey, tricky, skillful. But he loves to overlap. So you see Marquinhos moving in from the left-hand side to a more central area, or Villafañez trying to cover the left-hand side. And he just gets forward. Every time he gets the ball, when the ball comes to him, he's not the kind of person that'll take 1 or 2 touches. It's either first-time cross or one-touch cross. Yeah. And that makes it so much easier for Civilidad, the striker, because he's a target man. And I don't know if Glasgow Rangers have got any target men up top, people that are good in the air. But he's that kind of player where, as I said, one touch and he'll cross it. He's not going to dwell on the ball. He's not going to mess around. Once he gets that sight, that target, he's going to pop the ball in there. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of potential with this player.
Yeah, is his delivery's pretty good then? Getting balls into the box, pretty
he's got a sweet left foot, man. I hate to say he's a fantastic. I think he's been one of the best left backs in the league this season. In all fairness, and this isn't. I'm just being honest. Again, I'm an Omonia fan, and it pains me to say this. You know, but he's been one of the best defenders in the league for sure, 100%. Yeah. The only thing I will say is that he was loaned out to APOEL because Fluminense couldn't wait to get rid of him because he was a bit of a wild child in Brazil, from what I was told anyway. But since he's been in Cyprus, he's been straight and narrow. So it could be a situation where if he gets out of his environment, then he's going to behave himself. So I don't know if you got any, Brazilian bars or clubs or anything in Glasgow. If you do, you're in trouble.
But restaurants, I'm sure. I don't think there's any. Not the last time I remember. Let us know in the comments, folks, if there's any Brazilian nightclubs at Jefte. Well,
I don't know if there's a carnival in Glasgow. Maybe it's a Glasgow carnival. I've never seen one of those before. Heard of one.
Yeah, I think it's a lot different from Rio or whatever he's used to over there in Brazil, that's for sure. Well, am I right in thinking APOEL had a right to buy on him still? Is that right? And they're not taking that up?
Yeah, so there's conflicting stories with this because from when the deal was done, we understood that Fluminense loaned APOEL the player till the end of the season, and APOEL had first refusal on him, and the fee was set at $500,000.
Yeah.
But APOEL have got ridiculous financial problems. They're over 30 million euros in debt. Over December, they tried to raise 2 million by doing these virtual fan tickets. So fans will donate 20 euros and they get this virtual fan for nothing. It's basically nothing.
Yeah.
And they couldn't even raise 200 grand. So that's extended to the end of January. And the reason being is that 2 million was going to go towards unpaid wages. Players haven't been paid for 5, 6, 7 months. And a transfer embargo was about to be slapped on them. But fortunately for them, they've sold a couple of players since. So they've made a bit of money that's helping ease the finances. So it's a tricky one. I don't think they'll be able to afford him outright, to be fair. But then the club president, Bedridi, he went on a podcast beginning of December and he's saying, well, the player is ours. We haven't signed him yet, but he's ours. And we've had offers for the player, but we're going to sell him in the summer. So I'm thinking, how does that even work? At the same time, I don't believe a word he says, in all fairness. Yeah. And I'm not saying this because I'm an Omonia fan. Yeah. There's a lot of APOEL fans that are very anti-Bedridi because he's run the club into financial ruin. Don't forget, this is a club that go into the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and they had over 100 million in the bank. And now they're on minus 30, 35. And that's because they constantly sack managers, one being Mick McCarthy. He didn't last long.
Yeah.
So, it's been pardon the language, a shit show the whole time.
Yeah.
Coupled with the fact that they haven't won the league in 4 or 5 years. It's a very impatient culture, as I said. But, as I said, he's a cracking player. And I think he's got a lot of potential. If he's coached right, you've got one hell of a fullback there.
Yeah, Gaz Jones says, Clement won't take any nonsense. He'll get the lad in line. Yeah, I'm sure he will. $500,000 then. I think that's a bargain for him still, for him at that age. Do you think he's got the potential to go on and... I mean, what is his potential? I mean, he is just 20 years of age. Can he go all the way, do you think?
It's difficult to say because going from Cyprus where it's 25, 30, 35 degrees and the cultures... Yeah, I mean, look... The fan pressure is intense in Cyprus. It's big, and clubs like APOEL, APOEL, their ultras don't stand for any nonsense with the players. They turn up to training grounds. They've stopped training sessions in the past to speak to the players. They've gone to their houses. They've approached them in supermarkets. Yeah, they don't mess around. And if the players aren't towing the line, then there's trouble. Yeah. And, you know, it's a very threatening environment. I don't think Scotland is like that. I don't think Glasgow is like that. You might have a few hecklers, but I don't think they're going to turn up to their houses with firecrackers and, you know, flares and everything. It's not going to happen. Yeah. So I think it's a different kind of pressure in Cyprus. But in terms of that's the personal pressure. In terms of the playing pressure, it's higher in Scotland because it's a higher level and it's a bigger club. It's a far bigger club. So... I don't know. Look, from what it seems, he seems like a level-headed lad since coming to Cyprus, and I don't think he's going to have the personal problems, the alleged personal problems in Scotland. So he's got the potential, but again, it's all mental, and he's got the physical attributes, he's got the playing attributes. So the one thing I will say is, for a big lad, he's not very physical. That's the only thing, and he's a kind of fullback that would like to take the winger on the outside rather than showing him on the inside. Yeah. So there's these, like I said, there's room for development. Can he go all the way? I think he can, but it's all if buts and maybes right now. It's just, I'm sorry I can't give you a straight answer. Well,
I'm sure we'll see how he progresses. A lot of suggestions over the weekend suggesting that because of his numbers, he might be suited over in left wing still. Do you think? I mean, he's a left back, but do you think he could be played in an advanced position, do you think?
To be honest, mate, every Brazilian fullback I've ever seen, I don't know if they actually want to be a left back. You know, Cafu and Roberto Carlos, they never really knew how to defend. I can't really think of any Brazilian fullback that actually knew how to defend. Honestly, I'm trying to go back. How many years? I've been watching football for many years. What, Jairzinho? I don't know. Like, I don't know. So, look, it wouldn't surprise me if he plays left wing, but I've never seen him play that position, so I can't tell you if he's suited higher up the field or deep, because maybe he's suited in this left wing back or this left back role because he's able to make those overlapping runs and blindside the wingers or the fullbacks. Yeah, because of the system that APOEL play. So I don't know. I guess you could always worth try. I mean, I've seen Kieran Richardson play at left wing and left back, and that gives everyone nightmares. So yeah, or gave him nightmares.
Yeah, well, we're very much looking forward to seeing him in action. That move edging ever closer, folks. I believe he's going to be one of at least two. Rangers hopeful of getting a third in as well. Of course, Oscar Cortez, you would have seen yesterday from Lens, the winger, Colombian. So Rangers certainly looking at left field for new signings in the January transfer window. Stel, if people want to find out more about Cypriot football and the great stuff that you guys create, how do they do that?
Yeah, so just need to go on YouTube and search This Is Muppa, or you can follow us on X at This Is Muppa and on Instagram. We have a action-packed show coming up soon, especially this week, because we've had a lot of crowd trouble in Cyprus.
We've seen that. Yeah, it's all kicking off, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I've got some footage if you want to watch it, but it's I don't think it's for the faint-hearted first thing in the morning, in all fairness. But, you know, we've had a player hit with a firecracker on the back of his head. We've had bottles being thrown onto the pitch. We've had flares being thrown from outside the stadium into the stadium. Wow. We've had fans running onto the pitch, throwing fireworks and flares into the stands with the rivals. We had the same game, the APOEL game was cancelled literally 5 minutes before kickoff by the president of the country, by the way, the island. He called the CFA and he said, cancel this game because it's too much. One of the fireworks went off and it hit. It was very close to hitting a kid. It actually exploded behind her, so she's partially deaf on one ear. It's going off, but there's no control. And there's no accountability either. Everyone is blaming everyone. The club's to blame, the fans are to blame, the football association are to blame, the police are to blame, the government are to blame. But it's a culture in Cyprus because over the years, they've let these things go. They think, it's all right, it'll boil over. It hasn't. And in Greece, we had, I think, a fan died at a volleyball game due to crowd violence. And as a result, every sports game has been played behind closed doors. This is where we're at right now.
Yeah,
it's bad. People talk about what happened at Wolves and West Brom in the cup yesterday. That is mild in comparison to what happens in Cyprus.
Yeah.
So,
holy moly. Yeah. Well, if you want to keep updated, if you want to learn more about what's going on over there, then folks, this is Mappa. I heartily recommend it. Still, thank you very much for coming back on. It's
thank you for the invite. Appreciate it.
Top man, there you go, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Just for those asking, we will be back in a few minutes for the morning briefing. I'll be on with Joshua and Chris. Plenty to talk about with regards to transfers and, of course, Rangers winning in Paisley at the weekend as well. So we'll see you all then. But thanks to Stel, thanks to everyone for watching this show, and we'll speak to you a little later on. Bye for now.